Have you ever felt like you're just being swept away by life? Like the waters are just raging all around you? Well, it turns out a 2004 blog post from a guy named Trevor Nell gave this feeling a really powerful name, and even better, a set of rules to navigate it. So let's dive into what he called the rules for riding the wild, wild river of life. And it all starts with this simple, universal truth, right? Life is tough. The author talks about friends losing their life savings, people getting caught in disasters, and it's a feeling we can all connect with, you know? It seems like the older we get, the wilder those raging waters of life really become. Okay, so if life is a raging river, then how in the world do we stay afloat? The author, who actually used to be a competitive canoeist, drew on his experiences to lay out a few simple but honestly pretty profound rules for not just surviving the ride, but actually learning from it. So rule number 1, it's all about your mindset. It's simple. Go with the flow. If you try to fight the river when it's in a full-on flood, it's just going to spit you out in pieces. This is all about accepting the current instead of trying to fight against it. And this is just a perfect illustration of these two mindsets, and it comes from the reality show The Amazing Race. The author points to this one contestant, Flo, who just complained and whined her way through every single challenge. She was constantly fighting the current. But then you have her partner, Zach. He stayed focused, composed, super positive, and his attitude wasn't just about keeping him in the race. It was so powerful that he literally dragged his negative partner all the way to a $1 million win. Incredible. But here's the thing. Going with the flow doesn't mean you just lie back and do nothing. And that brings us to rule number 2. The real secret to staying upright in raging water is to always keep paddling just a little bit faster than the river itself. It's about taking persistent, forward action. And this idea just nails it. The author brings up Zig Ziglar's famous metaphor of an old water pump. Think about it. You can't just walk up and expect water to gush out. First, you have to prime the pump. You got to put something in. Then you have to pump vigorously, with persistence, even when nothing's happening yet. It's only then that the water starts flowing, and you can switch to that gentle, steady action to keep it coming. Okay, so you're going with the flow, you're paddling hard, but what about the fear? I mean, these are raging rivers we're talking about. The author notes that a lot of people just panic and completely wear themselves out. This rule is all about reframing that fear. So, how do you tackle that fear? Well, the author shares another absolute gem from Zig Ziglar. Failure is an event, not a person. You might have failed at something, sure, but that doesn't make you a failure. That is such a crucial distinction, separating what happened from who you are. And this just builds on that idea so perfectly. We should really admire the person who risks it all to chase a dream. And if they fail, they bounce right back and start again. The attempt itself, the sheer courage to take on the raging river, that's where the real honor is. You know, the crucial point is really this. Any new journey has two sides. The author talks about his daughter heading off to university, and she's feeling both totally excited and also terrified. And a mature mind gets that this is normal. You can't have the excitement and the awe without the trepidation and the risk. They're two sides of the same coin. Winners are the ones who actually spend that coin instead of hiding it away. So what happens if we follow these rules? If we actually ride the river instead of fighting it, where does it all lead? Well, the author explores this by looking at a book called The Ultimate Gift, which follows this young man named Jason on a pretty amazing journey of discovery. See, Jason is forced to go through this whole series of challenges, and each one is designed to teach him a lesson. He starts out as this spoiled, kind of arrogant guy, but through hard farm labor, he learns the gift of work. By helping others, he discovers the gift of friends. And as you can see, each difficult month reveals a brand new gift. And this, right here, is one of the most powerful and counterintuitive lessons. Jason's tasked with finding people who have problems. He meets a little girl with a terminal illness who just finds pure joy in a day at the park. He meets a man who lost his job but feels like the luckiest person on earth. What he learns is that joy doesn't come from avoiding problems. It comes from overcoming them. So where does this whole journey finally lead? It leads to gratitude. Jason's final task is to create what's called a golden list. Just 10 things he's thankful for. And after everything he's been through, he can suddenly see that his life is just full to overflowing. And that is the ultimate gift you find at the end of the river. A deep, profound appreciation for the entire journey, rapids and all. So, in the end, it all comes back to this one simple fact. No one else in the world really cares as much about what happens to you as you do.
You're the one with the most to gain or lose. You are the one holding the paddle.
So I'll leave you with the same thought the author leaves his readers. Life is going to be tough, there's no doubt about it. The waters are going to rage. But the power to go with the flow, to keep paddling, and to enjoy the thrill, that's in your hands. You're the paddler. So how are you going to navigate your river?